Elizabeth Borsman.
I mean, we have this committee, the Mayor's Advisory Committee on the Judiciary, right? We know mayors appoint judges to criminal court, family court. I mean, the mayor of New York, it's a powerful position. And every mayor since Mayor Koch has had this committee that recommends and evaluates judges for the criminal courts and the family courts, which we have vacancies on. And, the mayors always listen to the chief judge. They listen to other judges. They take their recommendations. And here we have the committee. It's got 18 members plus the chair, not a single Jew.
Everybody I talked to, from Arthur Aidala to this lady, Elizabeth, they all love this guy, Leventhal. And the mayor's excuse this morning, we did play. In fact, let me play it now. I know Tacopina's waiting, but let's play the mayor's excuse why Leventhal was rejected. Again, the mayor never rejects these people, never does. But he found a way to reject this guy. Here was his excuse. Lewis, it's cut number 12.
We decided not to move forward with his appointment because of the fact that he served on Ghislaine Maxwell's legal defense team.
Wait a second. Even Ghislaine Maxwell in this country gets somebody to defend her, right? That's our judicial system, okay? Even the worst of the worst, right? That's why they have defense lawyers. It's not his. It's not up to him to decide what's okay, what's not. And we don't believe him anyway. Leventhal is Jewish. That's why he did not get in. Joe Tacopina's Italian. But I think he was bar mitzvahed. It's kind of odd. I don't know. Here he is, the great defense attorney, my friend of 48 years, Joseph Tacopina. Is there any doubt in your mind, Joseph, that the mayor jumped in, which he never does in these cases, ever, and vetoed the Leventhal pick because Leventhal is Jewish?
Zero doubt, Sid, and I'm on fire at 8:50 in the morning.
Yes.
Usually I'm not on fire until about 9:30, but 8:50 because when the court starts, But this has gotten me. This one is disgusting. It's blatant. It's anti-Semitism, and more importantly, it's damn dangerous. Okay, John Leventhal. I know John, great guy. I mean, clearly someone we want on the bench. Okay, no question, but he's not being excluded because he represented an unpopular client. First of all, that's a dangerous line to cross. And that whoever suggested that, I heard that quote from City Hall. That is the most repulsively unintelligent thing I've ever heard when it comes to determining qualifications. What the great lawyers do in this country. We don't choose our clients based on whether they're popular or not popular. We defend the Constitution of the United States of America by showing that everyone, even the most reviled defendant, receives competent legal representation. That's what we're commanded to do, okay? The principle is the fundamental bedrock of our justice system, Sid. So punishing a lawyer for representing someone who was, when I first heard it, I thought the suggestion was he was like on the island with Epstein. But the fact, no, that's why really, that's exactly, Sid, I'm not even kidding you. That's what I thought. Yeah. Because there's no way I thought, okay, because he represented someone who's unpopular, therefore he's going to be disqualified. I mean, you moron. Oh, so by the way, is there any doubt if the person was named, I don't know, El Sharari, and he was a lawyer and he represented one of the 9/11 bombers or one of the terrorists who committed one of these atrocious acts?
He's in. He's in.
I mean, would they ever cite that, right? So it's really every person accused of a crime is entitled to a lawyer. That's not a loophole. That's one of the cornerstones of our justice system. The Sixth Amendment doesn't only apply to popular people, okay? So it's so outrageous. It gets me so crazy. I have to tell you, I've just not heard this before. And they said, like, that could be the reason, but you come up with a fake reason. Like, you say something like, I don't know, he wears pink shoes.
Whatever it is, the number is right. The number is 0 for 19. So no matter what you're going to say, you look bad. It's 0 for 19. 140,000 Jewish lawyers, the most of any ethnic group. Well, not one. That's even another. I'm just talking about Leventhal's denial based on that. Their stated reason is one of the most outrageous things ridiculous.
I've ever heard.
So you mentioned 9/11, and earlier this week I had a gentleman on the show, and he was great. His name is. What was it? Giovanni Galante, okay? So his wife at the time, Stacy, was 29 years old. She went to work in the South Tower, and she was murdered, died in those buildings. So this brave gentleman decided, Giovanni, to start a petition. He doesn't want the mayor down at that site. Either do I. A man that's friends with Hassan Piker, or a man that's endorsing Chevalier, who said America deserved 9/11, a man that takes smiling selfies in the street with clerics that were co-conspirators in the bombing of the buildings in 1993, of course doesn't belong there. And the families don't want him there. Not every family says it because they're afraid of political repercussion, what he may do to them, but none of those families want him there. So this guy comes on the show, and he's got about 15,000 signatures at the time. Now it's up to 50 because he came on this show, to be honest. But I'm with him 100%. I don't think the mayor should be anywhere near that sacred soil. He's going to go. He's already said he's going to go. But if he really cared, which he doesn't, about these families and New Yorkers, he would not show up. You know that, right?
But he doesn't care. So that's the end of that discussion. Of course he's going to be there with that stupid, plastered smile. I mean, what you just said, I think it was Hassan Piker. I think that's who you quote, one of his connections, one of his affiliations.
Yeah.
He's the one who said that we deserved 9/11. The United States of America.
By the way, not only did he not say that, he said it on a podcast. You know who his guest was on that podcast who offered zero pushback? Zero? It was Mamdani.
No. So Mamdani was on the podcast.
Correct.
And that was said.
He was sitting at a kitchen table with Piker, and Mamdani didn't go, hey, listen, Hassan, come on, stop. That's a bit much. He didn't say a word.
A bit much. Yeah, that's more than a bit much. I would knock your teeth through your throat and down to your ankles. I swear to God. If someone said that in front of me, I forget that I'm a lawyer. I'd become a pit viper.
Right.
And I would just slaughter.
You would become that guy that to this day still owns a record for most hockey penalty minutes in the history of college hockey at Skidmore.
I would relocate his windpipe in about 1 second. and so I really would, Sid. And it really to hear that. So this piece of garbage is sitting there when one of his buddies, his allies, someone he supports said maybe one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard about our country, about those people who were killed. I have relatives who were killed and friends who were killed. So do you. So do we all. I dial it too. We all do. And it's disgusting that to hear someone say that, okay, and that he sat there and listened to it and didn't say, that's outrageous. That's outrageous. I'll even John McCain, when he was going against Barack Obama and someone questioned Obama's citizenship and what, McCain stepped in and said, no, you don't say that. That's not right and that's not fair. That's what you do when you have dignity, okay? What you don't do is sit there and let someone say something so despicable and not say a word and have the gall to show up at ground zero where your buddy just said we all deserve what happened. Yeah. I mean, he has no, and you know what? I know he's a mayor and he thinks he has to be there because of that. No. Well, if you are going to upset the families of the victims because of your prior political stances and your current political posturing, clearly, then don't do that. Don't go. Actually have the decency, not that he has the decency, but if he had even a modicum of decency in his body, you don't show up at 9/11 to inflict pain on these people.
Just nailed it. You just nailed it. That's it. I mean, if you care about, and you claim you care about New Yorkers, don't go, because the overwhelming majority, whether they say it or not, hate you. Sorry, they hate you. Don't go. Let me get the Fauci from yesterday. Let me start with Rand Paul, who was brilliant. I don't like Rand Paul.
You got me crazy right away.
I know. I'm glad I did. Because, by the way, whoever's got you in court this morning at 9:30, it'll be even better. Whoever your client is, you're welcome. You can thank Sid Rosenberg. You're welcome. I heard Rand Paul say, and I don't like Rand Paul, but I thought he was great yesterday. He was great. He said that next week they're gonna vote, I guess, and look to hold Anthony Fauci in contempt. What does that mean in terms of punitive repercussions? Anything?
Yeah, well, let's start with that first. What happens after someone is held in contempt? And I do want to get to the overriding question about his ability to plead the Fifth Amendment, but let's start with contempt. A contempt vote, Sid, isn't the end of the process, right? The matter can be referred for criminal prosecution. Congress can pursue a civil action to enforce compliance, or even in limited circumstances, it can rely on its inherent contempt power through really something that has really been used in modern times. And look, it's not a contempt citation is the beginning of the legal process, right? It's whether criminal charges are brought or penalties are imposed. It depends on a particular contempt mechanism being used and the actions of the appropriate authorities in the court. So really what happens is the judge decides at the end of the day if he has been in violation, if he's committed contempt, not the
Not Rand Paul.
Of course.
Not
Congress.
Congress.
Not Rand Paul,
Right.
It's a judge at the end of the day.
And look, the guy's 85 years old, and he's a scumbag, and one of the worst people God ever created. But he is 85, and that may, I guess, be a part of the judge's decision. But you did bring up moments ago the big one, which is a lot of attorneys today, guys like John Tully, your friend, and others on Fox News. They are talking specifically about Joe Biden pardoned Mr. Fauci. So if he was pardoned by the president, he's not supposed to take the fifth, not once, let alone 111 times. What is the issue there?
That they're wrong. They're just wrong when they say that, whoever's saying that. A lot of people believe that because Biden pardoned Fauci, he automatically loses the right to invoke the Fifth Amendment. And that's not quite how the law works. Okay, that's a federal pardon. Joe Biden gave him a federal pardon, period, end of story. That's all he has the ability to do. A federal pardon removes the risk of federal prosecution for the conduct it covers. But the Fifth Amendment could still apply. So if truthful answers could really expose someone to state criminal liability or to federal crimes outside the scope of the pardon. A lot of states, and we've heard a lot of scuttlebutt about this, are saying, I don't care if you've been pardoned. That pardon doesn't cover us, and we're going to prosecute you. We're going to investigate you. So whether they prosecute or investigate, even if there's and it's out there, we know that's out there, that states are actually considering the potential of investigating Fauci and maybe even prosecuting him. End of story about his ability to take the Fifth Amendment. He has the ability at that point. So it really, there's no, in my opinion, the pardon changes the legal landscape for sure, but it's only conceivably criminal exposure, if there was just federal conduct.
Gotcha.
And the argument for invoking the Fifth Amendment really is much weaker then, but it's not. Realistically, there's possibility of state prosecutions or prosecution for conduct not covered by the pardon, and then the privilege is definitely still available. So, if Congress challenges the invocation, of course, not the witness, not the committee, not some political, pact, they decide whether the privilege was properly asserted, period.
So on the way out, I think a lot of frustrations, Joseph, the amazing defense attorney, as you hear right now, Joseph Tacopina. I think a lot of people like me are frustrated over the years. Like Hillary Clinton broke the law. We saw Jim Comey, who's also he's corrupt and he should be in prison. But we saw him for 30 minutes tell us why she broke the law and then tell us, but I'm not going to do anything about it. He literally did that. He went on for 30 minutes about the emails and everything else. And then he said, we're just going to let it go. And there's so many other. Bill de Blasio's wife. Where's that money? $1 billion just disappeared. So people like me, who've now been doing this in New York for almost 11 years, yelling about these Democrats, always Democrats, doing all these horrible things, and they never, ever, ever face any real repercussion. Republicans have. Paul Manafort went to jail. Michael Flynn went to jail. Peter Navarro went to jail. Steve Bannon went to jail. These Democrats do 10 times worse. There never seems to be any repercussions. And my fear is it'll be the same thing with Fauci because he's 85. And the truth is they don't have any real proof. His diary does say some things that don't look good, but any real proof to really hammer the guy. So this will be another case, Joseph, where in the end, there'll be no real repercussions outside of ruining his legacy, right?
Legacy, well, you said it better than I could just have said it. That's exactly what's going to happen. His legacy will be ruined, but nothing else is happening to this guy. Be real. He's going to be permitted or deemed to have appropriately invoking the Fifth Amendment because of exposure in state prosecutions. No question about that. So we have that. So, there's not going to be a contempt proceeding. He took the fifth. That's it. And end the story. But yes, look, what he did is despicable, disgusting. It was fraudulent in many ways. That he profited off it. The whole thing. I mean, but anyway, long story short is you just nailed it. It's about a legacy that's decimated. So, congratulations. You had your 15 minutes of fame. At times the country thought he was a hero. It turns out he was not.
Right.
So great. 85 years old. Enjoy, the last few years, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
And
he's going to hell. He's going to hell.
Wow. So you believe in heaven and hell?
I do.
Okay. All right.
Where do you think I'm going?
Oh, you're going to heaven, Sid.
Oh, I love you.
I'll put in a word.
You got connections there, too. He's got connections with the judges, the army, God. He's got it all, Tacopina.
Yeah, take me with you, please.
You're coming with me. Don't worry, buddy. You're a wonderful, wonderful guy, and I love you so much. And you were great again just now, as you are everybody, even though today's Thursday. Jojo, I had to put you on because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. That's how much I value this segment. I love you. Great job. Thank you so much.
Okay, my brother.
Great work. Joseph Tacopina. That was really great, explaining all those legal details about the pardon and obviously about the contempt and all that.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?